organizers for this interesting conference in a sacred place. I have been requested by the organizers to talk about Vedanta Jyotisham and the new work that I have been doing, and a book called Mahasalila, which is getting published by the Central Sanskrit University, maybe in the next 2 to 3 weeks' time. I have prepared a set of slides. If it is possible, they will show it. Otherwise, maybe I will have to talk extempore, just like that. We all know about the importance of Siddhantic astronomy. More recently, even though Jyotisha is popularly known as astrology among the common people, scholars, scientists, Indologists know that the most important part of Jyotisha in India is actually the mathematical astronomy, starting with Aryabhata. That's around 500 AD, let us say. That's about 1500 years before. But the question is, what was the kind of astronomy that was there in this country before 500 AD? And we say that the Vedic culture is very old, 5000 years old, or even older than that. What happened in between? This is a question which comes to each and every individual, particularly the youngsters in our universities, in our colleges, not only in UK or Europe or in America. Now this gap is being filled up by the Western Indologists by bringing in either Greek astronomy, because the original thing was to say that from the Greek astronomy, Aryabhata and others started. Now the situation has changed. The present day Indologists say that all this has come from the Babylonians, because the Greeks themselves borrowed it from the Babylonians. That has been proved. So they think the Indians also should have got it from the Babylonians. Now, if it is true, let us accept it. But it is not true. That is what I wanted to say. This is the area in which I have been working for the last nearly 3 decades from my professorship at the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. Now, if you see what was the situation before 500 AD, everybody would say, okay, look at the Vedanta Jyotisham, that is the Lagadas Vedanta. That itself is called Vedanta Jyotisha because S.P. Dikshit in the 19th century indicated it as Vedanta Jyotisha that was remembered by the Vedic Pandits, and they were able to repeat it, both the Archa Jyotisha as well as the Yajusha. Because of lack of any other work or any other research on the Jyotisham, on astronomy in the Vedic text, that has acquired the name Vedanta Jyotisha. But that is wrong actually. Reason being that it's a Shravishta system. When the space started with the nakshatra called Shravishta, which was later on equated with Ganishta after about 1000 years. And that's called a Paryayikala. But the identification of that has been wrongly done by Burgess and a few others as Delphini. That is again because of the Surya Siddhanta gives a coordinate which matches with beta Delphini. So if you see the whole thing, there is also a Maghadi system in this country. When the summer solstice started with Magha, and that is what the story I wanted to present, but it seems it's not possible to show that today. Now, Magadhyam, Dakshinardham, Agnyam, Uttarardham, there is a mantra even in the Maitreya and Upanishad. But that has not been understood, that has not been discussed properly. But there is equivalent things which are possible by research which can be brought out. For example, in the Brahmanda Purana, the 1/4 Kritika, 3/4 of Vishaka are mentioned. What is this 1/4 and 3/4 of Vishaka? I am not bothered about the Pada, the Nakshatra and the Rashi which comes up later on. by the horoscope astrology. I am not talking about that. But if we match this astronomically using the principle of celestial mechanics, where the 25,000 years is the required period for the precision of the axis of Earth, we get a period of about 1800 BC for this. Both Brahmanda Purana statement, the Maitrani Aryanika Upanishad statement, and the Mahasalila statement, where Mahasauryanam, Sauryanam, Ayana Nakshatranam, Adi is the statement in the Mahasalila. Now, what is this Mahasalila? It is a part and parcel of a huge text called Vriddhadharya. Now, as I started looking at what made the kind of astronomy before the Aryabhatan period, I came across statements by a person called Parashara. Parashara's statements are available in the century by the Lord. Gives large quotations due to Parashara. Utpala Vivruti also gives. Now, I combined all of this to see in which period it may be happening. That is also Shravishta. Shravishta Uttarayana. Uttarayana was happening in Shravishta Nakshatra about 1300 BC. How do we show that? That is the modern astronomical scientific investigation which I have been doing for the last past years. It can be shown. We have published in the Journal of History of Sciences, in reviewed journals. It is not just an ordinary statement that I am making. If you want, it is again co-opted by, published by Nature, where these datings are all specifically fixed. Now, this Vriddhadharya Jyotisham is a very peculiar manuscript. We have collected 25 manuscripts of Garga Samhita. Finally, 11 of them are going to be Vriddhadharya Jyotisham because they are the more ancient texts. They do not talk about week days, Bhanuvara, Somavara kind of thing. They don't talk about the Rashi. Rashi is a Sanskrit word, agree. But it is not a Greek sign where Mesha Vrishaba starts with the equinoctial point. It is not that. So they are older texts. Now how did they handle their time? And that is all Vedic. So there is a connection between the Vedic text where even Maitrani Aryanika says, so yo yoni kalasya, and there is kalasya. So many things are there about Kala and how that Kala was handled. That all comes up in the Vriddhadharya and also the Parashara. Since Parashara is a reconstructed text, many have objected, oh look, you locate the manuscript, these are all what has been said by later people and you have edited and collected it. That's all what they have argued with me. I agree with that. So the manuscripts are 11. These 11 manuscripts I have edited, not fully. Little bit. When I was editing the first few chapters, there is one called the Angasamudesha. In that Angasamudesha is like a content. Okay, it is being shown here. The content is a Vihara. All these 11 manuscripts start with the same hereditary stanza. Jagat Vihatre, Tamasa Nihantre, Goptre Trijanam, Hala Sampradatre, Mantre Chinas Srotasi Bhava Tastre. A beautiful poem, all the seven are the same Benedict. The others, Kali Samhita, Rajya Samhita, Vriddhadharya Samhita, they are all. Now, this contains about 125 chapters. It is supposed to contain 64 angas. There are 24 angas and the remaining are the Vipangas. That means they are the subsections. But when I started reading this, I could not understand even the beginning parts very honestly. Because there is a word called Sannaya. Sannayam Paurnamasyancha Ita Daivata Tarpanam, it comes like that. Now, that has been edited by others as Samrajyam Paurnamasyancha. So, Samrajyam Paurnamasyancha, I could not follow that, how it was happening. Then we got hold of Utpala Vibhuti from Raghunath temple. It says Sannayam. But what is Sannayam was the question. Sannayam, if you see the Shokta portion and others, say it is a habis, which is a mixture of Gadi and Kshira. Here it is astronomical. It is not Yajnik. It is Adidaivata of a Adi-Yajnika concept. So that Adi-Yajnika concept and the Adidaivata concept both are present in Mahasalila. I don't think I will have time for all of that. Hence, I started working on the Mahasalila. Well, this diagram shows that the Aditya in the Vruddhagargi Jyotisha gives some astronomical information which can be easily analyzed on a computer to show that between 5000 BC onwards, if I do, the minimum error position or the most probable date is going to be 1300 BC. But very interestingly, this Vruddhagargi Jyotisha has a later Anga, 59th Anga, towards the end, which is called a Ritusvabhava. Now that Ritusvabhava also uses solar nakshatras. It gives the nakshatras for sun. If that is analyzed, I think the second curve, there is a red curve, which is about 500 BC. So this text contains some information in this country, which happened between minimum 1300 BC to 500 BC, 800-year period. It's a cultural treasure. What it contains has to be seen by people, has to be understood by people. It also talks of Kanyopanayinam, when Kanyopanayinam has to be considered, and it gives also the astrological information, that is the Muhurta astrology, not the later horoscope astrology, but the Muhurta astrology. Now, let me go to the next one. Okay. So, I tried to bring out the Mahasalila first, because it is in prose, whereas the remaining parts are in verse form, and there are many other prose parts also in this text. They are all bold. They are pre-Panini kind of language. And just putting Athato Mahasalila Yasyamaha Itihasmaha Bhagavan. That Itihasmaha, very typically Vedic, in so many Upanishads, in so many Brahmanas, the same way it comes. This Anuvyatyasyamaha is interesting because it is it's a continuation of something else. I don't know what was the word. It should be the Veda itself, or it was a kind of a oral tradition which was there. Now, this is as a conversation between Vishwamitra and Vruddhagarga. Both the name of Vruddhagarga and Vishwamitra are mentioned in the manuscript. That is what I am showing there. Anvirasam, Maharkyam, Vruddhagargam, Hutagnihottram, etc. Vishwamitro Mahapasta Abhigamya Anupapracha Anvirasam. The whole text, if you read it orally, it sounds like a Brahmana. And in fact, that has been tried also. And a Vaidika Pandit who came from Mathur, when we showed him, he said, what is this part of Shankayana Brahmana or some other Brahmana? It is not. Maybe it is. I don't know. That is the situation. Then it continues like that. Bhagavan Sarvadarshi, etc. And the first chapter is about questions. There is a Prashnadhyaya and then the Bhakti. The Prashnadhyaya is 100 questions. What are the questions all about? Prithvi, Antariksham and Yoga. These are the three categories. And I will not go into all the details. Because where is the Prithvi standing? How is it standing? What is the distance from sun to earth? What is the distance from moon to sun, etc. All that is not answer. All of them are not answer next. But are very interesting. Now, many of the points in the Bhashya indicates this Mahasalila is the real Vedanta Jyotisha. I will come to the date of that later, but it says, Sakritatmanacha Dharmadurvijneyam Abhisamadaya Atmanam Samnilabhinishchitya, etc. It goes like that. And the second one you can see, Salimima Asi Dante Tamsi Niramaye Loke, Tatrandan Dikharubam Advatam Sambhavuva. Then, Prithvi comes, Yoga comes, Antariksha comes. It's very typically kind of the Rigvedic statements. And then the creation itself is given. So vacha bhumiti bhuvam, provaiti antariksham, suvariti devam. The important thing for me, from the astronomical point of view, is that in the first the Swahakara, Jwalitarchihi Jukwan Uto Guru Rachaya. Bhrigu is the proto-Venus. The first Venus, or the Venus was first. Aditya was first, then Venus. Then comes Tasmat Swahakare on the Rasana. That is going to be the Brihaspati or the Guru. This is same as in the Aitareya Brahmana. I have quoted the Aitareya Brahmana below. The Gretas of Pratamo, the Udadipyata, etc. The same way it is described here also. Then how the Samudra came up, how Saraswati came up. Saraswati is the important river which is mentioned in the world as half of the Veda only in this text. Whereas in the Puranas it is doubtful whether it was 3 minutes for conclusion. Well, I think as well say Namaste, go to the last one. Please go ahead. Just show the diagram. Planets. And it's very clear. There are 108 grahas as per the Veda. 101 are comets. They are the Ketavaha.
ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇನ್ನು ಸಮಯ ಇದೆ, ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳು ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಏನೋ ನೀನು 3 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಸಮಯ ಇದೆ, ಇನ್ನೂ 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ಮಾಡಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ.
But the Rigveda uses Dhumaketu 7 times. It also talks of Vasa Ketu, Vrusha Ketu, so many things. I worked on it, I will not bother today to hear about it. And the brightness of these planets are given in terms of the Rashmi. That Rashmi is actually a moderate magnitude, and it can be correlated. That is what I
ಅವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡಲಿ. ಅವರು 9:44 ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಇನ್ನು ಶುರುವಾಗಿ 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಿ, ಏನಾದ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅವರಿಗೆ. 3 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗಿಸ್ರಿ.
Now this is in the Mahasalila, please note. This is not the Gargiya or the Parashara. They have developed this further. Both in the Vrittagargiya Jyotisha
ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸಮಯ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಹೇಳಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮುಗಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಅವರಿಗೆ.
Both about solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. But this is the original one, and then the Ketus are given. Where are the Dhumaketus? What are they? What are their names? And their legs are given. Panchahastaha Kesham Shkapatyante, Trihastaha Kesham Shkapatyante. Hasta is going to be a cubit. That is the length of those things are mentioned of the different kinds of planets. Next one. Yeah, there is quite a bit about moon, because Chandra is so important. Brahmana, Soma, Raja. But that Soma is not only Chandra. The Soma here is the primal time. Chandra is also Soma, but as a proxy. It represents for common people the original Soma in form of Chandra. That is the meaning in the whole of Mahasalila. Next we will go further. Because the Tithi word comes up, not in the modern sense, but as Purna Tithi. Well, I think we go to the previous one.
ತಗೊಂಡು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ಕೇಪ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕೈ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅವ್ರು ಕೈ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು
when the face of the moon is fully, that particular time is called Purna Tithi, and that matches with what is there in the Mahabharata. Purnamasaha Vardate Asmin Kale Purnamasi Tithi. That is how it matches. So it is more ancient than Aryabhata. Next one, we can go further. Yeah, there is so much about Supratinam Loka, that is Agastya, then Saptarshi, then the Nakshatras, and how they go there. It is very similar to what is there in Taitira Aranyakam. When the Punya Kshaya happens, they come down, otherwise they go up. That kind of concept, very great intent. Then there is a Prajapati Rohini legend, and this answers not as in the Puranas, but in the Vedic concept. That means Rohini was once, long time back, was with Prajapati. Prajapati is Samvatsara. So the Samvatsara Adi was perhaps, as it is said in the Kartik Samhita, was identified when the Rohini was rising. in the Vasanta Ritu, and that was taken as the Vasanta Ritu or the Adi for something, I don't know. But that is Prajapateha Rupam, it comes up in the Karyak Samhita. This uses that and then says that changed. And that is mentioned in one sentence. If you can go to the previous one, I can show that. It says, Saptadashi Kalam Prajapatishta Asmai Vaishwadevam Chalam Nirvati. It's not only 16 colors, 17 is needed. And if that happens, next it comes Sanayam Darshakavumasya Chatakuru. It is Amavasya, then Sanayam, then Darsha, then Paurnamasa. That is the cycle. So Amavasya we are treating it as New Moon Day. New Moon Day is going to be Darsha only. And the actual CCB, as it is called in English today, the exact conjunction of the two, which is Tatkalikam, that is Sanayam. In this text at least. Then there is an astrology which I can't quote here, which says Vikarana Dharma. Prajapati asked Chandra to be with these 27 nakshatras equally, not just with Rohini, but it has to be with the Vikarana Dharma. So that for the human beings on earth, what kind of work to be done can be shown. And he answers that also gives two examples. Prajapati Somaha Kritika Sumadya Agni Bhutva Upachishtati Kritika Agni Daivatam Karma Avicharam Kritika Sta Agni Daivatya Daivata Samshaya Agnayani Tikshani Chataha Kritika Su Karmani Bhavati. Tikshna and Agnaya is what is given. This is enlarged in the Vruddhagariya Jyotisha Nakshatra Karma Guna. In fact, in editing that only I found, unless this is done, the other things cannot be understood. Because this is older, this concept is older. And he gives one more example, Prajapati Bhutva Rohini Mukataste, Guruvani Chataha Rohiniya Yoge Karmani Siddhya. So the remaining also I explains, it is a detailed explanation. So we can go further because I don't want to hold the time of others. And if other grahas come, other than Chandra, then there is going to be Akarmanya comes, and how that Akarmanya comes, and what is the variation of this Akarmanya, which graha is stronger, that is also mentioned. Buddha Shenaischara, if you can go back, Angarata, Brihaspati Shukra, Rahu Ketavaha, Vidyataha Uttarottaram Balavataha. It is Ketu also included. This Ketu is not, let me repeat, the descending lunar node. Rahu is also not the ascending lunar node. That has come up in the later Jyotisha, in our Panchangas and also. But this is not that. Rahu is a Tamasika. He doesn't include him in the Graha at all, at least in Mahasalila. But Ketu is a Graha. And these are the ones which are Balavattara, one after another, to decide the Akarmanya of a particular Chandra Nakshatra Yoga. This Chandra Nakshatra Yoga is enlarged later on in the Vruddhagariya Jyotisha where interpolation is brought in, the mathematical interpolation. It says, Darshanam Ganitam Chaiva Yugapad Yoga Sadhana. Nahi Sarvatra Ganitam, Nahi Sarvatra Darshanam, Darshanam Ganitam Chaiva Yugapad Yoga Sadhana. It says, I can't go into those details. Next we can go further. Yeah, there is a brief calendar. This is what can be used to fix up the time. And there is that statement, Nakshatranam Karmasu Kritikaha Pratamo Achakshate. There is no problem. Even the Babylonians used Kritika as the first nakshatra. But here, Rohini Sarva Nakshatranam Adihi. Second, Magha Sauryanam Chayana Nakshatranam. Then Sarvasancha Shadasikinam Adihi Sharishta. Panchavarsha Senhusyadihi. Samvatsara, that is same as what is there later on Lagada. This can be dated. I will not go into all the details. And he also gives Dasha Surya Ayanani Chatustrinshat Chandrayana Shatam Bhavati. If there are 10 Surya Ayanas, that is 5 years, then there is going to be 67 lunar cycles. That is sidereal month, or what it is called. That is actually the parameter used later on by Lagada. He also introduces 62 synodic months. That cyanotic month is given in Vrindagarga Jyotisha in the earlier chapter. I can't do that right. And if this is used, see further this says, it is an ending shloka, Ityeta Jyotishamangam Mahasalila Praja Sambhavana iti. Ataha asya shastrasya Mahasalila Ekat Punyam Yashasam Ayusham Kalmacha Nashanam Sarva Samshayanam Vyakaranam Ekat Vijnana Paramam. This is the science excellence. I think that will be the last one. You can go for the finish. Okay, this is the timing that I have shown. And do right now all of that. There are 27 nakshatras, but there are 86 stars. Many people think there are only 27 nakshatras or the 27 stars. That is wrong. The ancient one was, it was divided into 27 parts. 366 days was divided. And 13 5/9 days of sunrise was considered one solar nakshatra. That comes up in the Latyanga Shravya Sutra as well as in the Nidana Sutra. That's the same thing which is used here. And you can see the lower thing, there is Maghavi. The Magha, you can see there are 6 stars there, which is like a Poshtagara, like a room. And before that is the Sarpa or the Ashlesha, which looks like a snake. And these akaras are given in the Vrindagarga Jyotisha in detail. That is how we can construct that figure also totally. Then if you go from the Adi of Magha, go to the other side, it is exactly 183 and the center of Shravishta, the middle of Shravishta. And this can be analyzed by other means using the full moon statement which is given in the Brahmanda Purana, which has been published. So I won't go into the details. This was possible in the period 1900 BC to 1600 BC. So the statements which are done in this text, in the Brahmanda Purana, some part of it, and also in the Maitreya Aranika, they roughly belong to 1800 BC is what we can say. That is about 300 to 400 years before the Shravishta system started. So we know that we can go for this. We know that there has been a Maghadi system also in this country, not just the Shravistadi, and trying that only Lagadas. Lagada is only a calendar, it doesn't talk about planets, it doesn't talk about eclipses, it doesn't know anything about any other things, rainfall. There is a big theory of rainfall here, there is statement about Bhukampa and other things also. Now, well, anyway, this is concluded. But I wanted to show that this has been going to be published by the Central Sanskrit University. Yeah, that's what I'm showing here. It is supposed to come out, I don't know, maybe another 3 to 4 weeks to the final stage. The contents I am showing that. There is going to be a Pradhana Sampadakiyam by Professor Bhakti. I don't see him anywhere here. And then there is a foreword in Sanskrit by Professor Pandharani, combining the link between the Vedas and the other texts, Mimamsa and other. Then there is a beautiful foreword by Professor M.Sc, the prime historian of science and astronomy today, living in this country. After Rodam Narasimha and D.V. Subbaraya, by M.Sc. is the pastor, who is internationally recognized, who has a balance of knowledge of both the Eastern as well as the Western science. Then I have my preface, etc. Then the introduction, I have given about the master details, whatever is important, and why it is solar zodiac, how to date that. These are all covered in about 40 pages. Then why Mahasalila should be considered Vedanga. That I have discussed with some of the figures already. Then the Mahasalila text is given with text translation and my further detailed technical notes. Then the 4th chapter is the critical edition, along with the Patantaram with 11 manuscripts. So anybody can reconstruct all the 11 manuscripts using this if necessary. Then there is a Mahasalila, 2 facets are given. I am giving out of the 11, 2 of them I have selected, which is about 25 pages of prose. That's also provided. And then there are further appendices and also the word index and other things. Can you show the first slide, if possible? Then that is the, anyway, if you go to the first one. The very first one, if possible. The triangle was showing the relationship between Prithvi, Antariksham and Jyoti. Yeah, this is the first one which I wanted to show, which I had prepared for the Professor Panther. The book is yet to come. I do hope my intention is that this is going to prove to be one of its kind, which establishes the relationship between the Vedic period and the later period. There may be several others hidden. It is for the youngsters to take it up and do it further. Thank you.
That was very interesting new discovery. The history is created in front of us. For long we had thought that for Vedic astronomy and Siddhantic astronomy did not match. But now with the discovery of this Vardhakargi Jyotisha and especially the Mahasalila, something very unique thing that Professor Iyengar has contributed to the field of IKS and also the Vedic studies most importantly. For us it is Vedic studies. I thank Professor Iyengar to have come here and address us.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts. Unfortunately, being organizers, we never get to listen.